So, about your disabilities, illnesses, or health conditions. So, this is quite an important section, of course, because they are going to be asking you questions about your disability, illness, and health condition and how it affects your ability to do things on a daily basis. So, in this space, you can give them all the information that they are requesting here. You can run over onto page 21 if needs be, or onto a separate sheet of paper. As I always say, make sure you put your name, national insurance number, and date, and the form that it's linked to, which is in this case a UC50, on those separate sheets so that they don't go astray. What you'll need to do here, or the way I prefer to do it, is write everything down in terms of title. So I will start off with medical conditions, and then I will list my conditions here as to what they are, when they started, that can be diagnosed. Okay, quite often we're dealing with a health condition and it takes quite some time to get diagnosed, because there's a lot of investigations and things that need to happen. Also, you may want to put a bit about how they affect you. So with fibromyalgia, as I say, you then might put in symptoms that I experience, and then list the symptoms that you have, and so on there, so that they know how your condition affects you. Okay, fibromyalgia is a good example, really, because the symptoms are slightly different for everybody. Some people have more of one thing than another, and that can be important as well. Some people who are, for example, at the early stage of a particular type of treatment might not have had a great deal of impact from that treatment or from the condition itself, but as they go further along, get more poorly as a result of that. It says in there to note if you have any conditions that are linked to drugs or alcohol. This can be important in case you're having to, for example, if you're on the methadone program, you might need to be there every day for at your pharmacy to get your methadone, things like that. So that could interrupt how your working pattern or whatever, something like that. Also, use this space to tell them about aids and adaptations. Adaptations. Oh, cancel. So yeah, you might put, walking stick, wheelchair, things like that, bars in shower. And yeah, it could also be adaptations that are a little more esoteric, I suppose. So it might be that need to work in low lighting environment, for people with extra sensory stimulation problems, such as people with autism, ADHD, things like that. It might be that they need to work in a low lighting environment, or maybe they need eye shields of some kind. Equally, it might be that employer needs to adjust my workspace to be away from other people, things like that. So you can put those kind of things in there, and you can also put in anything else that you think might be relevant. So, for example, Meniere's disease can cause cognitive problems or make it appear as if drunk. So when I have a fall, people will not help me. So it could be something like that, where there's a safety factor in it. It's very important that you get across the safety implications of your condition as well. So make sure that that comes across. If you have anything like a falls risk, or you're likely to have a heart attack that could lead to either injury to yourself or other people, then it's really important that you get that across as much as possible in this form, and this would be the first place to start with that. I'll come on to why that's important later. So again, pop as much information as you can in there. Now, here we have a much smaller box for the medication, which could include liquids, inhalers, other medications, and any side effects you have. So it does say you can find a list of your medications on your latest prescription, and again, you can continue writing that in section 21 on page 21 at the end of this document, or on a separate sheet of paper, which is fine. As I say, make sure you put your name and national insurance number at the top of every sheet. You probably are going to need more space than that. It is useful if you have a printed copy of your medication list that you can include with it. It will save you writing it all out, and then you can use this space for talking about any side effects that you might have. So, for example, I used to have to take pregabalin, which would reduce the pain from the nerve damage I had in my arm. But it would also make me extremely sleepy and prevent me from being able to drive. So that would be something that, might affect how you do certain types of work, particularly if, by trade you are a driver. So it's important that you put things like that in there. Equally, some side effects, if you have a mental health condition, can either cause a person to be very sleepy, as I say, or it could be that it causes some kind of behavioural issue, things like that. Equally, for people with anxiety, they might take something like propranolol, which is a beta blocker. It might calm you down, sort of thing, but equally it would again prevent you from using any machinery, or might make you a bit sort of out of it when that happened, those kind of things. Equally, you may be taking something that would lead to something else being a problem, and then have to take medication for that, and so on and so forth. So try and get all that information across if possible. Hospital, clinic, or special treatment like dialysis or rehabilitation treatment. So if you're regularly visiting a hospital or clinic, or for some reason for any type of treatment that you might be having, it might be some form of rehabilitation or dialysis, as they talk about in here, but it could be something a little bit more esoteric than that, but something that's quite essential. So make sure you're putting that information in there. Make sure that you put in clearly what treatment it is that you're having, where you go to get the treatment, and how often you go for the treatment as well. And if you're expecting to have treatment that you're not yet having, then do put that information in there as well. Also, you might be on a waiting list for treatment, or receiving treatment, which might need that you stay overnight somewhere. If that's the case, then fill this bit out here, giving information about where that is. And again, the same if you are about to start a residential rehabilitation scheme. So then we come to the important section now: how your conditions affect you.